Good morning and welcome to the shack. I nearly forgot to turn the volume on. Can you hear me okay? It's good to have your company. It's Monday morning. I think it must be the 12th of June. Let me just see if there's anybody there with me, and hopefully we'll be able to carry on doodling for a little while together. My name's Barbara Gray, in case you didn't see that, and in case you're new to the party. And if I'm a little bit all over the place today, it's because I still haven't recovered from our 2-day open day celebrations at Clarity. It was so warm. It was so warm, but we did have a fantastic time, didn't we? It was so good to see everybody. Now, Paul's telling me that the sound is nice and clear. Good. My glasses are nice and filthy too. Come on in. I can see that many of you are joining the party already. And we'll just give our friends a couple of minutes to come in. And then we'll have a recap and then we'll get going again. And in the meantime, let's have a little chat about the open days. Thank you so much for coming. It was really good to see so many familiar friends and faces. Pat, Hoskins, Ken, Roz, Jill, so many of you, you know, it was really lovely. And I think everybody had a good time. That's better. Yeah, I think you had a good time. I know we did. And it was really lovely. My mum was there. She enjoyed it thoroughly. It just got really, really warm. And on the Saturday, it was quite unsavory. And then, right, just this, I've got to tell you this because we didn't realise until right at the end. Martine Smith, my mate, who was on Dies, she goes right at the end. And good people had already left. And we were packing up. And she goes, you won't believe this, bloody radiators on. I said, you what? The radiators were really warm. They were hot. No wonder she and I were fading like flowers there all day Saturday and Friday, actually. I had a banging headache by then. Yeah, the storage radiators, they were really warm. So, God, whatever. I can't tell you what else she said. And me, when we realised, the air was bleu. It's nice and sunny still here. Lovely day again. Anyway, so yeah, radiators. Can you believe it? I think we had a great time. It was so good of you. So many of you invested in the pottery as well. And it felt good, you know. It felt really good. It's one thing giving your pottery away, you know, and people say, oh, isn't it lovely? Polite. But it's another thing when people are actually prepared to spend their hard-earned money on your pottery. Then it's a real confidence booster. So that was quite lovely. And I know that many of you invested in the pottery, which was so flattering, and it just felt great, you know. So that was lovely. Now, let's see, who else is here? Oh, okay, nearly 100 people already. Wow. You know, what's the weather like where you are? What's the weather like? I had to, that was another thing. On Saturday, got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and it was fresh. And I thought, I know, I'll put my dungarees on because they're quite loose. I thought I'll wear something loose and comfortable. My goodness. By lunchtime, I looked like Huckleberry Finn. I was rolling them up to my knees in the end. Then somebody said, why don't you cut them off? I said, are you joking? Do you know how much these cost? I'm going to cut my dungarees. She said, you could reattach the legs with Velcro. Only a crafter would come up with that. Can you imagine? There's a style that I don't want to emulate. Detachable dungaree legs. But there you go. We did have a laugh. We had a lot of fun. Now, before we start, let me just check something. Hopefully, I'm not going to switch you all off when I do this. But I do know that sometimes the volume is a little bit loud. Let me bring that down a little bit so that it's not too barky. I don't want to bark at you. I want to bark at you. There we are. And so yesterday was a really sunny day. I didn't move much. I stayed in the garden. I did go, well, you won't believe this. I did go and make some pots because it was really nice and cold in the garage. And I've got some commissions. So I thought, well, I better get started because you never know what's around the corner. You really, really don't, do you? Yeah, so there you go. Nice to be back in the shack. Nice to be back in the shack. It's not too hot up here because, fortunately, we turned the heating off because of when we put the kiln on downstairs, we have to turn off all the electrics everywhere else, all the radiators and that, all the rads. And the funny thing is, I've been moaning about it being really cold in the garage now for months. And now it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah. Perfect for pottery. Perfect for pottery. Okay, are we ready to start? Are we going to continue? I think I did give you a little tiny preview on Facebook of what we're going to do. So if I show you that, and I'll show you how we led up to it. I just did a little corner just so that I knew, because I foresaw that I would be wiped out today. So I did this straight after our get together last Monday. Yes, because I knew that I'd be cream crackered. Right, so what I thought would be really nice today would be to colour in like pewter, if you like. Let's have a look close up, see if we can look on camera 3. Let it just focus and let's see. So you can see the frame that we doodled. And I thought, right, well, we'll get a start. And I wanted to really, really spend some time, take our time, because it's really relaxing. And I thought we could have a look at how to create that nice pewter effect almost, isn't it? Kind of 3D effect. It's as flat as a tack. It just looks, let's see, does it look as if it will do when you do all of it, then it will start to look as if it's, when you've done all of it, it will look very 3-dimensional, okay? And Jackie's just listening today because she needs to make a card. Okay, good. Yeah, so there you go. That's what we're going to do. And I thought maybe, just in case you're joining us for the first time, I'll show you how we got to this as well. The idea was originally, we drew on tracing paper so that we could transfer it. We did a beautiful butterfly and flowers, didn't we? In fact, the one that we did together was that one. So we drew a butterfly and flowers. And then I thought, cool, I know what would look really nice is if we did a really lovely frame around it, and it kind of, and we plucked the flowers out of the center and we picked those and then lay them down in the frame. So that was my thinking behind it. And then the bus driver, this is bus number 308, friends, today. The bus driver, that's me, thought, oh, hang on a minute, I've got a better idea. Why don't we split the centers from the frames? So that way you can use the frame independently as well. See, so that was how we ended up with 2 pieces of art on we did one on an overlay, didn't we? Right, and that way we've got 2 templates, because now I've got the center that I can use anytime, and I haven't busied it up with this, so I can use this on anything else too. So there you go. That was the plan, and we used the download. It's on the Clarity website. We used the download to get the outer frame. That's why it's such a good idea to use tracing paper. See, so you can overlay your art. We've been doing this for a long time now. Oh, nearly at the water moment. we've been doing that for a long time with the 3-way overlays and things like that, haven't we? And I mean, I'm no expert, but I do know it's really useful. And I know back in the day before computers, that was that mechanical paste up. That's how we used to do our art in layers. Okay, so you'd put the line art down, and then you'd come over with another vellum or an overlay tracing paper, and then you'd put the color in, and then you put the background in, and so on, you know. So it's a really useful little arty trick. And I think that today it would be a useful arty trick to have a look at how to use greys. We're not going to use much in the way of materials. The only thing that I will go to is my set of 12, those polychromos that I'm always talking about. You know, I've got a Pergamano pencil in there as well, white one. Remember we were talking, I did it on the telly the other day, and I used the Pergamano pencil in one of the demos as a kind of a block, as a resist. You know, the polychromos, the pergoliners, they're all the same animal. The pergoliner B pencils and the polychromos, they all can create a really lovely seal on card, you know, but you can also erase them easily too. So that's what I thought we would do today. Who's up for that? Let's have a look. I've done a little section so we can look at where we're headed, and I'll come in a little bit closer, shall I? Move in a little closer. And then when we could get started, because while we're colouring in, we can talk, can't we? We can talk about the open days, and you can tell me what you thought as well. So let's go. Let's have a look. We could go that way, or we could go. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. So we've done that bit, and let's go there. So the first thing we want to do, I would suggest, is we go with the light grey. The light grey. This one. Let's go with the light grey, and let's decide. So what we're going to do is decide where the shade is. If the light's coming, what's the top and what's the bottom? So this is a funny old one, this one. So that's down the bottom. Now we're coming around the side, let's say, right? So we know if the light, we've got to decide where the source of light is. Let's just assume the light's coming this way, okay? That's easy to know because this is the underneath, right? So the light is coming from that way. So what we're going to do is put down a really light covering. Let's sort this bit out first, and let's just get the panel done, and then we'll get the tube done around the inside. So we're going to put a light grey, and you'll see what I do is I go in like that, and then I feather out. So I go in like that, along that edge, and then I feather out. And you don't want to press hard. And the reason I say that is because we don't want to create a seal, as in, if you press too hard, you get like a waxy wall. And once that waxy wall is in, you'll find you can't add any more depth of colour or any other colours. Okay, so if we come, let's just do sections. Let's just do a piece like that. And then we can do the next piece. I mean, usually I would do the whole thing, right? But I think if we just do one panel really well and concentrate on that, then it'll be too hot to go outside. So you'll be able to do this on your own once you know what you're doing, eh? So you're doing the inside of that panel there, and then we're going to do the outside too. So we're definitely establishing really shady, right? Take your time, and you're going light. It's all about the layers, this shading, because people often they ask, how do you get that three-dimensional effect? How do you make it look like you could put your fingers underneath it? And it's all about time and layering. So layer it up like this. When you're doing this, let's say I'm going to go to there, that'll do. This is only an experiment. For me, this is just play, okay? And I would suggest also that you don't get hung up. You know, don't use this as a commission piece. Don't say to yourself, right, I'm going to do this as a birthday card because it's pressure. You know, nobody wants pressure in their life, especially not when it's this warm. Okay. And the other thing is, if you press hard, now see the other thing is, because it's very warm in here, I'm leaning on the artwork. So you've got choices. You can either lean on that, okay, lean on like the groovy guard, because that stops me smudging the pencil work that I've already done. And it also, look, I can isolate the area through the gap as well. This is really important as well if you do a groover, because it just protects your artwork, really. Okay, there you go. It's quite nice to go through the hole like that. So you can see we've got a little bit of a shade going on there. And I'm just going to take it to that flower. I won't go too far beyond that. Everybody all right? We're not getting any younger, are we, friends? But I have to say, when we were in the hall in Ditton, there was a moment where I got a real sense of joy, you know, it was just great to see everybody together and happy and enjoying themselves, you know. It was great. And then when you'd all left, when all our guests had gone, and then everybody dived in, the staff all, you know, they came and everybody was diving in to help break it all down. And right at the end, we were in the kitchen. Here we go. We were in the kitchen, and so now we've done that. I tell you what, let's keep going with this one. And what we'll do now is we'll keep going with the same light grey first. We're going to go light, medium, dark, and that's the essence of it. So the next thing is we want to go on the underscore of all the swirls. So let's start up here, and let's assume light's coming this way, so the light's going to hit there. Okay. Oh, don't worry about the leaves. Just do the light grey. And remember, if you got it in the wrong place, you're going on the underbelly of the leaves as well. Let's do that there. Yeah. And what you've got to remember is, it's just a piece of card. Don't get hung up on this. There you go. And then you're going on the inside of that one, like that. Round we go. On the outside of that flower. We won't worry about the inside of the flower yet. We'll sort that out afterward. We've done loads of this in the shack, haven't we? So you're going to go around, and the light pencil is just giving you a guide, really, of where you're going, you know. So then we're going to go in there. Here we are. Yeah, we were standing in the kitchen after it was all done, and we were divvying up all the sandwich. We were divvying up all the sandwich fill. Right, who wants a cheese and onion? Who wants a coronation? Dave was very quick off the mark with the coronation chicken. Tuna, all the different things that were left over. I said, come on, Dave and I'll be eating this for a month if you don't help me out. So everybody grabbed a box, and it was great, you know. Always better to have too much than not enough. And there was just a moment, we were standing in the kitchen and just talking about how it had gone. You would, wouldn't you? Just a little group hug, really, little virtual group hug with all the staff. And I had a real proper sense of contentment. You know, I thought, what a brilliant team. What a brilliant team, you know. It hit me how lucky we are, you know. And the harder we work, the luckier we get, as Arnold Palmer used to say. There you go, you see? So you're just putting those little shadows in. All right. And on that side of the flower. And what you'll find is, let me take a piece of the same card. What you've got is a real gentle, you haven't got You're not working with a really sharp pen, you're working with the flat. And sometimes what will happen is after a while, it's like it doesn't come out anymore, right? You've pressed so hard, there's nothing coming out. And if you take a piece of sandpaper, just do that, it will rough up the edge again and off you go. Lynn Jackson, she told us that at the retreat last year, at the parchment retreat. And it's absolutely true. You know, if you press hard, it's the same if you press hard on the paper, you'll make a seal, and you're going to seal the pigment on the pencil as well. So that was an interesting thought. Right, so we're going on all the dark sides. That'll do. Right. Okay, so we've done the light side, and we're on the inside of the swirls, on the back side, I mean. All right, like that. I reckon that's probably good enough. Okay, and then while we're here, let's do the tube as well. So tube, both sides now, for sure, all the way around, because we want to make this look very tubular. That's the whole idea. So now, light feathery strokes all along that line. Okay, there we go. Just come round, and you don't see. This is not the point at which it starts to pop. It pops right at the end. Not now. It's when you put the darkest colours in. That's when it starts to pop. Just put the light greys in though, so just to establish what we're actually doing. Okay. There we go. Is this all right for today? I hope so. I hope so. So you're putting that colour in there. Okay. I was thinking that when we've done this, I would really like to draw another one of these together. And look, we don't have to take it right through to completion again like we are this one. We just have to draw it. And then that way, we've got 2 frames and 2 centres. And then you've got yourself a real nice little set, haven't you? There you go. So we've got the outside. The other thing is, if, for example, your tube is too narrow and you feel, well, I'm getting too close to the centre, you can always take your eraser pencil, your pink one, not press hard, right? Clean it, because I don't know where it's been. And then right at the end, if you want to add a highlight, you can just pull that pencil right through the centre, lightly, like that, because this is quite a narrow tube here. Right? And it just re-establishes the whiteness. Doesn't matter how dark this is, that will work. Okay. So that's a good thing to know. You can always reintroduce the white line with okay, so we've done that bit. I'll do a bit more on there, a bit more along here. See, to me, this is therapy. This is proper therapy. This colouring and pottery, they're my therapy. So when we were at the open days, there was some really great. It was great. So Ruth Dalton, she came along with Samuel, her son, who's my godson. That was so good to see him. I haven't seen him for a long time. It's been too long. Then Elizabeth turned up. It was so good to see Elizabeth. That was exciting because I haven't seen her for ages. So that was lovely to see Elizabeth. And Pat Hoskins, she came all the way from Cornwall. Brilliant. God bless that daughter-in-law for bringing her. Yeah, Marianne. Oh, there were so many lovely people. Marianne. Yeah, too many to name. Ken, he was there, of course. Always good to see Ken. There you go. Right, so we've done that one. And I'll tell you what we'll do now. Who's got this little set of 12 pencils? There's an ivory in it. These are really good because you've got loads of greys. You've got light greys, medium greys and dark greys. There's a really nice ivory in here as well, and a yellow. So it's a really lovely yellow, but sort of not bright, you know. So this is the ivory. And the ivory, I've actually used it in the background to make it look a bit, that's why it looks quite creamy, not white. So if we take the ivory now, I'm going with the lightest colours. And what that means is where the white would be, I'm going ivory. So that's good too. Let's just put a little bit, and all I'm doing, right, is like that. You're going round and round, and then you're overlapping. So if this were a black pencil, I'll show you. You're doing this. Very fast though. So that way, when you go fast, you get a complete fill, you see, but really all I'm doing is that. Okay. But because I'm doing it with ivory, you can't see it, can you? Look. It's like watching paint dry. Okay. So I'm going to, again, go to where we started up here, and let's just inject a little tiny, a lovely light layer of ivory in there as well. Let's just do that too, because it's easier to put it in now than perhaps afterwards. There we go. Let's just add a little flash of ivory. There you go. Just circular motions, just like that. Okay. Maybe in the flowers a little bit too this time. There you go. Nice. Okay, so we've got a little bit of ivory in there. And then the next thing we want to do is, because what we want to do is get this dimensional. That's the game today, is to get that 3D effect. So then the next thing is, let's go to so this grey pencil, this little fella, this was cold grey 2. Okay, so let's have a look what we got next. Let's see what this one is. This is cold grey 4. So it's a little bit darker now. We're going a bit darker. So I'm going to get myself a little, I don't want a point. I want like a bit of a chiseled edge. Chisel. Okay. So lightly does it. Get yourself going, Gray. Right, now let's start again up here so we see the contrast as we come down. And we're going to travel in exactly the same place as we went before. So first of all, round here, and because it's darker, we're going to travel a little bit lightly, less pressure. Here we go. Round we go. And again, see the little circular motions? All the time, circular motions. And when you get to the flowers and the leaves, just skip over them. Okay. See, is it getting darker yet? Yeah, it's getting there. You don't want to press too hard already. There. Okay. Then we'll go on the outside. I'm lefty, so I've got to start there really. Right, here we go. Round we go. Feather it out a bit. In you go. Feather it out. So what we're doing is we've come a little bit, we're not coming out so far now with this grey. And if we do feel we want to add a bit of the light colour again, it's no problem. You just go back in with a light one. If I feel I want to add a bit of dark grey, light grey, I just come back in and tone it in again. Look, you just keep bringing the colours in. See? So make sure I've got my chisel right. Is this okay? Yeah, so back to the open days, it was such a Oh, just good to see everybody. You know, it really was. And so much has happened, you know, since the last time. So many lives, you know, so many. Everybody's got something, you know. Everybody's got something. It's life, isn't it? You know. And that's the thing about craft. You know, to be in a room full of people that are all like-minded. We may all have different interests, we may be doing different things, but we're makers. Every single one of us, every single person who came there, you know, even the husbands that were supporting, you know, they understand the benefits of crafting. Anybody that's here this morning definitely gets why we always say, oh, get with your hands, stay with your hands, get out of your head, you know, stick to you when you're having a bad day, you know, it will distract. You know, I was talking to Elizabeth for a while about pain management. You know, she's in excruciating pain, as are many of you, you know, many of us. Not me. I'm not really in pain. Not now. I was earlier on in the year, but not now. And, you know, we all know that we need some kind of distraction. And when we start making things, we get lost in that world of creative making, don't we? It's so different, so healthy for the head, don't you think? Well, I know. There. So we've got our, see how it's starting to change? And now we'll go in on the underside of the twirls. I'm going to go quite dark now because I don't want to get in there too often. Right, so now let's go in on the flower as well. Let's get a bit of shadow. If you look at the petals that you've drawn, maybe that's a little bit darker in there, be a bit dark around there. There we go. Start to create a little bit of depth there as well. And you just work your way through. So now we're getting on the inside. I'm going to turn the pencil round so that it's a bit sharper. There we are. Underneath that leaf. But we know, right, and this is something, it's always so unique when you're in a room full of like-minded people like that. It's it feels amazing, you know, because people get you, people understand, you know. And when people will buy my pottery, I'm absolutely sure that they weren't like pity purchases. You know, there's no way people were gonna. No. I think they liked what I did. You know, there were no pity purchases there. I don't think so. That would be ridiculous because they weren't cheap, were they? I I had a bit of it's funny because when it comes to stamps and, you know, product and helping other people know the value of their work when they want to sell, I'm your man. You know, I can tell you exactly how to price and the best way to go. And but when it came to my own pottery, I was really unsure, really unsure. You know, got quite flustered and anxious about it. And then Gracie, New York Grace, my daughter, lovely Grace, she's been on the phone a lot recently. She had a little surgery last week, and so we've been in touch every day. And so she said, "So what are you charging them, Mum?" And I said, "Oh, well, I'm not sure really. I'm you know, it's quite difficult, isn't it?" And she said, "Well, because we were on FaceTime." She said, "Well, tell you what we'll do. You show me what the little price tag says on a piece of artwork, and I'll tell you whether I think it's correct or not." And so I had a piece, like I say, this is it here, right? And this is FaceTime. And I said, "Okay, And then I flicked it like that and she could see the price on the bottom. She goes, too cheap. So I said, okay. So then I got the next one out. Went like that. She went, So I had to go. So she said, you're lowballing, Mum. You're lowballing. You're underselling yourself. You don't know how good you are. So she was just piling into me. So we went through them all again. So if they seemed expensive, blame Grace. She said, you can't undervalue yourself, Mum. I said, okay. So that was again, you know, new territory for me. Very new territory. And the thing is, it wasn't even about the money. It really wasn't. And don't get me wrong. Somebody said, oh, well, you're so wealthy. Somebody said to me, you're so wealthy, you don't need the money. And I thought, excuse me? Which part of me is wealthy? That was an interesting conversation. Maybe it's all relative. Maybe compared to the good lady that said that, I am wealthy. If you measure wealth in monetary terms, I don't think, you know, I'm not wealthy. I am wealthy in life for sure, you know, for sure. Money's never been my driver. Money's never been my driver. And I think anybody that runs a business and only looks at the financial aspect of, or the profit or the money, I mean, I have to, because I've got a business to run. So you do keep your eye on that. But anybody that thinks that money is the be all and end all, that business won't survive. It's not sustainable. There's got to be a lot more. And I don't think there's ever, it's never been more crucial to have other targets than money than now. Now is more important than ever. It's not about, you know, you got to figure out how much you need to make to keep going. But there's no, money's never been my driver. So when this lady said, well, you're wealthy, I thought, am I? I am, but not in monetary terms, I'm not. But it's all relative, isn't it? It's all relative. And of course it is. It's all comparative and it's all relative. To her, I guess I'm very rich. But, you know, it's all a matter of perception, isn't it? And see how it's getting darker? Look, see, you're beginning to, they're joining up now, aren't they? Let's go on the inside of the tube now. I've always liked nice things. But if I can't afford them, I don't buy them. You know, I don't. Never. I'm not somebody that lives beyond their means. And if I haven't got the money in my purse, then I don't spend it. And I don't think that's a bad way to live. Having had years and years and years of never knowing whether I would be able to pay the rent or not that month, you know, it didn't make me tight at all. I'm not a tight person. I don't think I'm definitely not a tight person. Didn't make me tight. And did it make me frugal? It made me careful. Definitely made me careful. Well, of course you're going to be careful. You've got 2 little kids and you don't know if you can pay the rent. You get very careful, don't you? Otherwise you're in a pile of trouble. There you go. This is going to look really nice. Is it starting to look dimensional yet? Yeah? Yeah, I think so. Which way round to hold the paper? The card, eh? Don't know. Whichever is more comfortable for you. See, it's starting to come now, isn't it? Here we go. Let's have a look. So now, we've got the flowers, doing a little bit of shading on them as well, aren't we? We don't want to completely shade them in because of the white. Mind you, I have to tell you, I used a Posca pen to inject a flash of white because that's the very last thing you do though. Very, very last thing you do. Now let's have a look. We've done light. That doesn't mean that we put it away though. We can always go back with these. So we've done the light one, we've done the ivory, we've done the medium. Now let's have a look at that Payne's grey. I'm going for it now. Payne's grey. Now if we're going to do Payne's grey, we want quite a sharp. So we've got choices. When we sharpen our pencils, we can either use this sandpaper, which is an artist tip. These are good, these little sanding blocks. I don't know if we sell them anymore. We used to. But any old sandpaper, not too gritty. Or you can use the pencil sharpener, can't you? But the pencil sharpener is good just to get but you don't have to don't have to overdo it. Just want a nice sharp point. Now you're getting dark. This is where it will pop. And what we're going to do now, start up here again, and we'll go exactly back the way we came, but this time stay on that edge and then you just start bringing in that line. Here we go. And then feather it out. Don't press hard though. I think that's where a lot of us go wrong, is we press so hard. See how it's changing? I think, well, it is where in this room. Right, here we go. That one line on the outside of that makes all the difference, look. And then the other thing to know with that, because now you've got two lines joining together, let me tell you a top tip. If you use, look, back in the building, blending pens. If you use a dry blending pen, it's got no oil on it, just like this. And if you want, with this particular generation of darkness, if you want to just take the tip and smooth this out, this will help you, because a lot of us, it's quite hard for people to get that lovely smooth graduation. And if you use this along that edge, just literally along that edge, you could actually use it for both sides. You know what I mean? Just take that out. Just really tones it back. And we're actually adding a bit of the grey, the dark colour, on the inside of the tube as well, you see? Look, just taking that dark Payne's grey. My favourite colour, that is, Payne's grey. It's the best in the box. Right. So let's go along this edge here. Where were we going? Start where you can see, look, you can see there. There we go. Lightly does it. And always remember, if you overcook it, you can always go in with your eraser pencil. That will certainly help. Is it popping yet? Should start now. This is the one that usually has the desired effect. The darkest colour will have the desired effect. There you go. And then it's up to you how dark you want to go. Who here sells their work? Who here sells their artwork, their cards? Hey? Tell me. You know, we are an angel company. I mean, that's one of the, I think it's vital. You know, if you're going to invest the amount of money that so many of you invest in your art, then you want to get some ROI, as they say, return on your investment, don't you? And you want to be able to, at least, if you wanted to make money to supplement your income, then, you know, there's never been a better time, really, you know, with Etsy, and there are so many different forums now where you can sell your work, aren't there? You know, you don't have to go and peddle your wares at the church hall, but you can. But now, if if you're in this room, then you're clearly computer savvy. And most of us have got children or a friend who can, you know. It's looking good now, isn't it? You see how it changes? There you go. So I've gone back in with a light one now. Cool. Okay. Yeah, you can see, can't you, where I've stopped and where I continue. So you know that this is the area I've got to here, this area here. So we'll go back in with, I think, second grey. Let's add a little bit more. Let's come this way a little bit. Let's come this way, come out a bit. Here we go. Marvellous therapy this is. Do you remember in lockdown we did quite a lot of colouring in, didn't we? With the colour, with the feathered friends, and then the poppets, the Marina Fedotova poppets. Hey, there you go. Yeah, no, I'm not wealthy. Oh, you're kidding. I think that the older we get, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a lot more. My priorities, since I was so ill in the beginning of the year, I have to say that my priorities have shifted massively. You know, I don't sweat the small stuff anymore like I did. That's for sure. And also, I feel, not that I'm running out of time. It's not that we're not, but the clock is ticking, and I'm sure you know what I mean. Yeah, people think they're going to live forever, and then all of a sudden, they think, "Oh, hang on a minute, actually." So you've got to do what gives you pleasure. You've got to kind of, you know, it's precious, your time. You shouldn't waste it. You've got to kind of enjoy your life. Enjoy your days, one day at a time, you know. Money's not what it's all about. And, you know, there'll be somebody who says, well, it's easy for you to say. Well, actually, no, I'm not. Like I say, you know, I haven't got much. I haven't got much at all. Because it's not important. I'm lucky. I could put food on the table. So relatively speaking, you know, I'm probably very wealthy. It's all comparative, isn't it? But my car's 2011. I drive a right old beater. But it's a nice old beater, and I've looked after it. So it's an Audi TT. So at a glance, you think, oh, she drives a posh car. Then look a bit closer and you realise that it's actually 13 years old. You know, goes like a rocket, low mileage. And if I traded it in, I'd never get another lovely car like that for the money that old thing's worth now. So I'll just drive it into the ground and just keep going. Works for me. It's a little bit of a challenge getting in and out of it now. My poor old mum. I said, Mum, if you can get in it, we're going. She does it though. Love her. She does. She gets in. So if you can get into that car, Mum, we're going to matinees for lunch. In she gets. There. I think we're getting there now, aren't we? Isn't that lovely? So that's the whole idea here. And if I've been a little bit I'm not distracted. I'm just not sharp today. I'm a bit fuzzy, if you know what I mean. A bit fuzzy. But you see exactly how it works, don't you? The layers. There you go. Now you can go in with the light one again, and it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. See, just takes it down a little tiny notch. Right. So now what we've got to go to again is the ivory one, and we're going to go round again, and we'll change that colour into a lovely creamy colour. Here we go, creamy yellow. See. So now we've decided we've done enough of the grey, let's say, and now we're going to go back in with that creamy colour. There we go. Cream next. And then we'll have a look at the leaves and decide what we're going to do, because we haven't touched the leaves yet. See? So get that lovely creamy colour in. That looks good, doesn't it? There we are. I think that looks good. Yeah. See? Isn't that nice? Get a bit of that cream going through there as well, I think. That will look nice. Got half of it done already. It's good, isn't it? So you can see now this is really negative, as in we haven't touched the design. Here we've gone into the design as well. Same pencils. So let's just take a look, for example, at what we've got here, and then we'll repeat it. So on the inside of the flower, we'll go to the middle one, and what we want to do, if I come in really tight, it's when you come in really tight and you look at it, it's not that good. I'm going to do it anyway. Right, now look at the flowers, look at the petals. Okay, you see how I've gone like that, but I've left a little gap. Look, I'll show you. See if we can do that. And I'll show you how you get that effect. So you want it quite sharp, really. Right, middle grey, okay. And we're going to go, what you're doing is that, just around it like that. See? Just a little, like that. So it's on that side. There you go, look. Just, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just giving you a clue. Look, see how it changes it? Because you're going like that, and like that. There. See how different it looks now? Like that. There. Put a little bit of grey in there. There. That makes a difference, doesn't it? See? Let's turn that one round. Let's do this one. Let's do it again. Should we do it again? Where's that thing to lean on? Right. So where's the sun coming? Right. So the dark. So we're going to go this side. This side. So we go there. See? Do it lightly to start with, and then go back and reinforce it. There. 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 Right. So it's there. Let's go a bit harder now. Here we are. In there. Like that. See. Did you get it? Look at the ones I've already done. Right, so that makes sense, doesn't it? That idea. You can see that. Then if we take the dark Payne's grey, let's go back to this one and see what I did. See the Payne's grey? I've gone in again there. Look, I've gone back in with the sharp Payne's grey. Let's go back to that flower that we've just done. And I'm coming back in over the top, just one line, like that. There you go. And if you wanted to, you could add a little tiny bit of Payne's grey. There you are. And then suddenly it looks like it's three-dimensional. Go in there again. So you take that sharp Payne's grey, really sharp. Excuse the arm. Just want to get a bit of a tip on that. Just sharpen that. And then, which one are we on? That one. And then you're just going to go from the base. Up you go, like that. Okay. Oh, don't press so hard, Barbara. Like that. And then a little bit of a squiggle down the bottom, just to bring it in. That'll work. There, see? And then, if you want to tone it down and you feel it's a little bit too severe, then in you go with the blending, the dry blending nib, and you just tone those colours together. There we are. But now, when I pan out again, you can see now how you get the depth. Let's go out a bit further. Hey, excuse me. So you see now, less and less contrast, isn't there? And the only thing left to do, well, a couple of things. Leaves. So we haven't done the leaves. So what we've just done, you do that on the leaves. So because they're tiny though, we probably need a bit of a sharper. Let's just sharpen that, get a bit of a head on that. Really nice. So let's go into the leaves. And again, what side are we working off? This is the back end, isn't it? This side here is the back. So we're going to go in, as far as the leaves go, it's the same thing. So we're going to do exactly what we just did, right? But what you're doing is you're leaving a little kind of gap, if you know what I mean. Come in a bit closer, shall I? Because the leaves are the same. And when you look, this is the thing, when you look at an individual flower like that, you think, well, that looks a bit naff. But actually, it's the whole thing. When you step away from it, it's the whole thing. It's not just that little, nobody's going to stare at one little flower. Just put a little bit of, there you go. So you're going to put a little bit of grey in there like that. You come down like that, little flick at the, there you go, inside. See? Just putting a little bit of that flower in. There. You don't want to kind of colour it in all together, because then it's just, there's no contrast. There's nothing, it won't pop. It won't pop. Just a little tiny bit of, there you go. And if you think you've overcooked it, then back in you go with your eraser. Get rid. Right, Payne's grey, last little thing. Just a tiny little flick at the base of each pencil, each leaf. That will make it jump. Like that. There you go. Tiny little. And then we've pretty much, see that flower now? You can see the flower there because it hasn't been done. So it sort of stands out now between all the ones that have been done. Do you see? What a difference. And then, what did I do next? Right, I want to show you a bit of the white. The white is the very last thing you do. See around here? So what I did here, I took the white Posca pen. So while we're doing this, right, let's have a look. White Posca pen, ideal. While we're doing the Posca pen, okay, so we can make little dots. We've got choices now. Let's look at the flowers first, right? So with the flower, what you want to do is highlight the area, the other side of. You see where you went grey like that? Do the other side in white, like that. So you're just going in with a tiny flash of white. There you go. Do it on the leaves as well. And then if you go over the edge, the thing about the Posca pen is, if I've got well, normally I'd use a needle tool, like a 1 needle tool. If I go over the edge, I can't even see. Can't even see. I would scratch it out again with a oh, there it is. That's the one I was looking for. Right, take a 1 needle tool, and then you can just remove it from the line art. There you go. Just a pair of scissors. That's it. There we are. So you're just going to add a little tiny bit of white, and it will highlight the little leaves, makes them jump. There's your leaf. There's your flower. Bit of whiteness. Even on the dark side. What have we got here? There we go. There. So this week, tomorrow, big day for Paul and our shackers in Groovy Tuesday. It's a 100-hour celebration. So Paul's going to be with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And then Paul's going up to the TV. It's Paul's week. Paul's going up to TV World, and he'll be starting a launch of a beautiful butterflies. But when butterflies and parchment meet dyes, it's rather fabulous. So so let Paul take you on a little ODS journey there. That's pretty cool. That's on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. There we go. So now let's have a look through here. So you've got choices here. If you've finished, you don't want to be doing this until you've done everything that you want to do, right, with the shading. Although that said, you can remove these by scraping them off. I'm just putting these in the background, and you can use this as a highlighter. See, so you could leave it white, which looks quite nice too. Especially if you were doing a wintry scene, this would be quite nice, you know. And then when they're dry, the only difference, what I did, rather than just make black dots, what I did was I went back in. It's quite nice, this therapeutic. Okay? I went in over the top of the white when it was dry with a micron pen, with our trusted micron pens. Here we go. These ones. Yeah. Go in with the micron pen, but it has to be dry, otherwise it won't work. Cool, we are close, but I think we get it now. And then what you do is you go back in and you just make a little dot in the white, and it looks so sharp because it's like you're giving, even the black dots have got a highlight. Then they've got like it's cool, right? Very simple. You may every now and again, because my white's not completely dry, I have to just clean off the nib. All I'm doing is just twizzling it to get rid of the white. Don't have to press hard, just touch on. See? And that's how these are made. They've got white in the background. There. So when you there. Looks good, doesn't it? I think so. I think so. There. So when you come out, obviously I've done more in here to compare. When you pan out, you can see now how we've reached that kind of pewter look. Darker, lighter, more dots, less dots, white, more white dots, you know, you can see how it works. On the inside, before we call it a day, I want to give you one tip. If you want to do the grey on the leaves, for example, go back in your little pack of 12. It's this yellow one you want. It's really nice. They call it, it's called cream, but and in German though it's called Strohgelb, which means straw yellow. So I don't know where cream came from, straw yellow. But remember the trick I showed you with the on the telly with the resist on the white, so that when you did the background, the leaves stayed true. Well, instead of using white, use this this cream color and just fill with a sharp pencil, fill your yellow, your leaves with this yellow. And then when you go to do the shading around the outside, you won't touch in, you won't go in the yellow will stay yellow. They'll stay really true like that. And you'll get a really lovely pop. So I just wanted to explain on the inside, if you put these in first, because we wanted this dark pewter. If you want these to pop, color them in with the wax pencil first and create that seal. And then when you add the shadow, it blocks it. Okay, it blocks it. So there you go. And Paul says he feels 100 today as well. And you can see now we've got still loads of colouring to do. But I think maybe next Monday when we get together, how about I'm going to colour this in and you colour yours in, and then we post them all over Facebook in Clarity Worldwide. Okay. And then next week, I would like to start on a new, let's go back to the beginning and let's design a new butterflies, a sort of Japanesey butterflies and flowers. Shall we? I think that'd be lovely. So I think that's all I have to tell you, is that Paul is doing an ODS at 6. Tomorrow he's got his 100th hour anniversary. So I hope that you can join him in the Groovy Tuesday. And other than that, I don't think I've forgotten anything else. If you are interested in the whole art of business, you know, art, when you're taking your art to market, like I am now, you know, with my pottery. If you're interested in taking your art to market and you're the same as me, like not 100% sure how to price, where to go, what to do, then perhaps we could start a little group, you know, next week. Have a think about it. Maybe it's something that you want to dip your toe in, or maybe you just do it for therapy, you do it for the joy of it. But if you do want to get a little bit of return on your investment, then perhaps we could take a look together at how we can help each other. You know, it's always easier to have a grace to run it by than trying to decide it yourself. Okay. And I know the rules, but I just didn't know how to apply the rules to myself. So use us, you know, we're here to help and keep you company. So lots of love. Paul, thank you so much for your help. Don't forget, tomorrow, 10 o'clock, Groovy Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And other than that, I will see you next Monday at 10 o'clock back here for another doodle session. Okay. Lots of love to you, and enjoy the summer. It'll be over before you know it again. Lots of love. Bye-bye now.